Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining again. So Jessie is going to be our first speaker, and she's going to speak on accessibility. Jessie, if you're ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Start presenting. Can you see?
Yes.
Great. Okay,
Yes.
so hi everyone again. My name is Jessica and I am a level 10 local guide and a member of the One Accessibility Alliance, which is the logo you see there. And today I'm going to talk about accessibility meetups. Accessibility meetups are about adding to maps information on the accessibility of a place that could help people with disabilities and more. But accessibility meetups are also about raising awareness, so hopefully the attendees keep on taking into account whether places are accessible when they contribute and even become more aware of it in their daily lives. And maybe are able to make a difference when it comes to a place being accessible or not. I organized my first meetup of the kind for a worldwide accessibility walk, a meetup organized by Emeka from Nigeria. Emeka later created something called the One Accessibility Alliance, which unites local guides from all over the world that care about accessibility. We help raise awareness to connect, meetups, and more. And ever since joining, accessibility meetups became the kind I host the most. So the first thing I do when I plan this kind of meetup is checking where it could be. They normally are organized in commercial areas with lots of businesses, but they could also be in just one big place like a shopping mall. Or one of the places we visit could be a park, for example. Then in the meetup post, and also as we start the meetup itself, I try to give information on how to know if places are accessible and how to add that information to maps. The questions on the right are from an official guide made by the local guides team that I usually bring to the walks or send a link to, and they are all about the info we can add to maps about wheelchair accessibility. So if an entrance is wide enough and has a ramp, the tables are high enough for people with wheelchairs, and so on. On the left, you can see more data that you can add to maps related to visual or hearing disabilities. Maps can ask us if places offer any of these things depending on the category of the place. So the most official way we can add information to maps is by editing the place. One of the ways to do that is by going to the About tab of the place, where you can also check the accessibility. Then you go to Describe this place and you add the info. As you can see, information about mobility goes to the accessibility section, and information about other kinds of services offered that could help people with disabilities go to the offering section. And you can just tap the options to say if they are accessible, which makes the option blue, not accessible, which makes it dark gray, or if there is no information about it or it doesn't apply to the place, which leaves it blank. Another way to do the same is to answer questions like it's shown here. And there are many other ways you can add to maps besides setting the About tab of the place. You can add information in pretty much all the ways you can add data to maps. So we can mention in our reviews the accessible features the place has. We can take photos that showcase how wide the space is, or even of a rail menu. And we can create lists based on the accessible places we found of a category in a certain area. Here are some people that are now in the meetup, like Cecilia, and Silvis. So what I usually do...
Valeria. Farid and Valeria.
Yeah, but they are not here, right?
Hi.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are too. Maria Eugenia, many are here. So what I usually do in this kind of meetups is to take photos of areas we visit. And then when I get home, I add them to maps and edit each place, review the place if I was a customer, and later create a list if I think I found enough accessible places of the kind in the area. I tried editing the places right there on the spot on my first meetup, but I realized it took too much time for me, and I'd rather reach more places during the meetup and then take extra time at home to add it to maps. Another thing some people do at meetups is talk to the business owners and let them know that they could do to improve their accessibility, which is very helpful. I don't do that a lot because here the people on the businesses are usually not the owners, but they have written emails doing the same thing in some cases. Then on the recaps, I try to say how many places we visit and how many of those places have accessible features, so people get an idea of how accessible the area is. I just like to highlight a few of the most or least accessible places and say what makes them stand out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions, or do you want me to go back to some slides?
Thank you so much, Jesse. I'm going to bring back another question that I asked in the previous meetup, accessibility meetup, related to accessibility. So maybe for some that still didn't understand, really, it's when you visit places, people can really access it. So now the question is, places that not everywhere have accessibility, how do you go about that? How do you put them in your reviews?
So places that aren't accessible?
Not 100%. Let's say you can only access the ground floor, but
Okay.
there's no wheelchair to the upper floors.
Okay.
Or the
so
toilets. Yeah.
Yeah. So that means you can. Sorry, I'm going to go back to a slide. You can check here that it doesn't have a wheelchair accessible lift. So they will know that only the ground floor, if it is accessible, is accessible, and then you just put like it has a wheelchair accessible entrance, so they will know the ground floor is accessible. And if it has a toilet, an accessible toilet, you check that. So that's the way. And then in the reviews you can mention that too. So you can say, okay, so it doesn't have an elevator, or yes, describe it really as much as you can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Hi Jesse, thanks for describing how to add the accessibility features and all. So my question is regarding so have you ever received any positive feedback or any feedback based upon the accessibility features from any of the establishment you might have added for? Or the second question might be like, have you you might have given a review that the place is not accessible in these things, and that place might have added those features later on?
Yes, that actually happened on the first ever accessibility meetups I went, which was hosted by Tracy when she came to Buenos Aires in 2017. So we went to a place to drink beer afterwards, and I already wrote on the review that it wasn't accessible, that the entrance had like a really big step, so it was missing a ramp. So I put that on the review, and then like a few days later they told me that they knew and they were thinking about changing that, and they already ordered like a ramp or something, so it changed. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, Jesse. I would like to ask, I don't know, like, do you reach out to the organizations or to the people directly, or do they just, it depends on how often they do check their reviews to see, okay, what they need to fix? It's like feedback. Or how do you do it to them? Do you reach out to them directly, or or it's just the review that you left for them that they check and then they fix it?
So when I contribute to maps, what I'm doing is letting other people know, and not the business itself mostly. Okay. So when I want the business to know, I usually write an email. I did it many times, but not in every business I go. And I wrote an email to the government of my city that takes care of the accessibility, because I realized that a very touristic area of my city wasn't accessible at all, so people couldn't enjoy it. I mean, tourists or Argentinians ourselves couldn't enjoy it.
No.
And that's pretty bad.
Yeah, understand. That's great because the thing is, we're having much challenges right here for us. Like for example, for me here in Nigeria, I doubt if you'd find. I think you'd find only 1 in 10 buildings that really have the accessibility access, like places that would be accessed by disabled people. For example, having to say maybe a building with elevator or a building with ramps and all that. Mostly we use stairs. I would say sometimes due to maybe cost or due to power, something like that, yeah. Because it's a bit insufficient.
Yeah, we don't have that many accessible places here either. But I noticed that the most modern buildings do try to be more accessible. So we have issues in some neighborhoods in the city because they are very old buildings, so the places are very small, and usually bathrooms here are either like in other floors without elevators. So there's a big problem here with bathrooms not being accessible. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. So it's just like us as well, having banks, for example. Let me use them as an example. Most of them, they usually don't have the ramps. They have stairs as entrance. Not really stairs for elevating, but just a bit like 1 or 2 steps before the entrance, usually to separate them from the Dalton line of the street. So most of them, you see them, okay, a bit 1 or 2, 3 steps. And then a lot of them, I even had one, but then reaching out to the management isn't an easy task, really, because
No.
but I don't know, I just let them as part of to their suggestion box, which I hope they could put a part of the renovation plans.
That's great. Yeah.
All right then, thank you.
Yeah, but the question here is how many of, especially like thinking of African or West Africa. I'm in Ghana, but also in Nigeria and some countries along West Africa, and not many of them see the needs for this accessibility as we are talking about it, because not many disabled people access the place anyway.
But then the question is, there are a lot of disabled people who have access to that place, or let me rather say, there are a lot of disabled people who are bank account holders.
Yes, but it's a bit difficult for them to access the place because the things are not there and the people don't see the need. For instance, now maybe here or even in Nigeria, I've hardly seen any bank with that with the good accessibility features, like hardly.
Well, that's what it comes. You as a local guide. Now that's when you can review the bank and you continue to campaign about accessibility. So when people see this, they would understand that, okay, this is important. And then people that are physically challenged would understand the use of map and they would further use it. So they would understand that going to this place means there's no accessibility. So is it favorable? Can I sacrifice and go? So this is what it becomes. That's where your job becomes as a local guide. I mean, that's where your voluntary becomes as a local guide. So you help these people out. And then if you can talk to the management, whatever initiative you can take, and then you go ahead and push it forward. So these key institutions would add it.
Okay.
But my own observation here is that a lot of these banks, it's like living a bad review for them. It's neither giving them any stigma or anything. It doesn't affect their market because how many people check on the maps before banking with them? Do you understand? Their own strategies for banking is totally different. Their marketing strategy is totally different. Do you understand? So with or without your review, sometimes they just see it as it's not something that could affect their businesses. So but I don't know. Maybe in a later time.
Right, isn't something that you want I mean, I'm not doing this because I want to affect the business of the places that are inaccessible, but to let the people that need accessibility information know that they can find it and where they can find it, and let them know if the place is accessible or not, basically. And then to make more places accessible, we can reach owners, and we can try to contact the businesses in many ways.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, by doing that, I think maybe they would add it part of their renovation plans if they want to grow as a business
Right.
for
If you put
disabled to have access. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you put in the review that it isn't accessible, maybe they will take it into account for the future and buy a ramp to put in the entrance and try to make some renovations. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good one. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. If we don't have further questions, we can just go to the next one. I just saw one of our speakers also join. Isaac, are you set? Jesse, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Isaac? Okay. So seems like he's not around. I'm just gonna go ahead and then present on okay. And
Alpha, are you
present
there?
on virtual. Yes, I'm here.
Sorry, I joined late. I was running late from a meeting. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
It's really sunny here, so you're going to permit me to use my glasses. It's really very sunny, so I'm straining my eyes to see out there. Okay.
How are you? Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
So, okay. Would you like me to present now, or you want to come after? You want me to come after your presentation?
Whatever is convenient for you. If it's convenient for you now, that's okay.
Okay.
If you wish me to go and then you take more time and prepare, that's fine as well.
Okay, great. I think that I would like you to present first, then I can just get a few things, and because I am in traffic, so I'm trying to get home quickly so I can get relaxed and get my presentation. So yes, please go ahead. I would really appreciate that.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. Okay, let me know if you see my screen. Is that coming out?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. All right. Hello, guys. My name is Alpha. Welcome on board. If you're just joining in, thank you so much for coming. And if I don't get to call you out individual, I'm sorry. It's really nice to be here. Okay, so this is virtual meetup, and I'm your host, and I'll be presenting on this. So what we'll be discussing today would be the introduction on virtual meetup, hosting guidelines, and submitting and attending meetups, using meetup resources, and the do's and the don'ts. So let's get started. Well, you know, you all been here, so this is the same virtual meetup. I don't need to go to that introduction. So, well, how did we get here? The local guide meetups has been famous while ago, but mainly these are meetups that are not hosted virtually. But yes, we would say COVID-19 did this. That's why you have a lot of meetups going all around now. And it's to me, it's a lot easier. So this is it. This is the advantage. Everyone from anywhere can just get to attend meetup from anywhere that they are. Now, this is the main things that you really have to understand about meetup. So if we look at getting started, the most important thing is you would have to read. You'd have to read and read and read about meetups. There's so much more that you would have to find in Connect. I would share a document that has link of all the things that you need to prepare for meetup. So the other important thing is before you really host meetup, I would really advise you to attend a couple of meetups. You know, when you attend, you're going to understand the basics and the do's and the don'ts. So it will build your experience and you'll also build connection. So now when you also you need to plan. If you don't really plan, keeping meetups spontaneous can be very difficult at times. So I would also share a document that I use for meetups, and you can use it. And I would also another thing that happened to me on one of my first virtual meetups is I went on Connect and then I post and wrote everything and click submit. The internet didn't work, so I lost that entire document. I had to do it again. And another time I did it also, the meetup got rejected, and now I had to go from start to type everything again. So which can be exhausting. Another time also I did it and it didn't go very, very well. And I ended up having 3 hours to the meetup end time, which was disappointing because if somebody comes to see your meetup is taking more than 3-4 hours, the chances that they would join would be very slim if they're busy people. So what you need to also consider not to have your meetups rejected. Looking at the red flags, this is one of the biggest challenge. And really, if you spend so much energy to host a meetup and just to get that email, your meetup is not approved, makes you feel very bad. So what you can avoid not to have this or have your meetup in a queue for a long time for approval, this is what you need to avoid. So if you download photos from Google's and all that most of the time, and you use it as your meetup cover photo, the chances is it will get down would be very high. And also stock images I would not really advise you to do that. So just look at any photo that you have on your phone that you've taken, food related, and also the photo really have to match with the meetup. So you have to look at things that it's related to that. And another reason why a lot of meetups get a decline also is if you set a form or you do anything to collect people's private information, such as collecting emails and phone numbers, it's not even advisable on these things to do them as you're hosting, publishing all this in Connect is also a complete violation of some of the local guidelines and principle. So another reason also that your meetups can get rejected real quick is if you use any of the local guides logos. You're never supposed to use the local guides logo. So this does not only apply to virtual meetup, it applies to almost all type of meetup. Unless otherwise, if it's an event that is Connect sponsored or the Google is sponsoring, then yes. So these are the things. So, and yeah, you cannot really miss these things, and these are all part of its policies. So really look at that, and so you'll be able to host your meetups, and it takes just about a day for approval. Sometimes you'll be lucky. It takes just a few hours. So if it takes longer, know that they're still checking your meetup before they can approve it. And once you submit the meetup, you cannot do changes. So be very careful once you're submitting it. So now this, if you were to submit meetups, this is the page that you have. If you go on the meetup sections, know that the name of the meetup can never be more than 300 characters. So choose wisely and leave the name as short as possible. And the description, use the KISS principle, keep it simple and straightforward, or you can just say keep it simple and stupid, or keep it stupid and simple. So people don't really read long description. And if you leave it long, the chances is people will join the meetup without understanding the purpose of the meetup. And which becomes most of the issue at times. So if you come to the meetup type, the moment that you click on the type, you should have a drop down. It will give you like food, cold, and then just choose, look what fits here best. If you don't find that, if it is virtual, you always have to select other, then you continue. So here you would have your end and all that, and then location of the meetup. If it is virtual, it doesn't matter really. If you're in the UK, you want to host a meetup, maybe to your village or your hometown. So virtuals, you can host it anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. So that's what makes it an advantage. Now the maximum number of attendees, this is always, well, you can leave it optional unless if you want to limit it. So then you can set the number that you would like to limit it to. Now this is a sample of a meetup. So another very important thing of this is the calendar. A lot of people seem to miss this because virtual meetups time zones are not the same. So what you can do is I've made a video, a 2-minute video on how to use calendar. So if you don't have Google Calendar, you'll be able to use it easily. That's when you set this up. If you just click on calendar, it will be able to set your time zone, and it will tell you exactly in your city which time would the meetup take place, and it will remind you. I forget a lot. If something is not on my calendar, believe me, I would forget about it. And so these are the things that you need to do. So I'm gonna skip this video and share the link so I don't take much of your time. So now using Meetup resource, this is one of the best news that everyone, every local guide would really anticipate to. So for virtual Meetup, well, Google Meet has now become a premium to everyone. So it allows you to host a Meetup, and then with this one now you can host and have up to 100 people. So yes, 100 people. So that's it. But then what I noticed it's a little bit different is still now the premium one that you can have recording feature. That's the only one that it's not on, but maybe like they're still introducing it. So look for something that works for everyone. Google Meet has become very famous for virtual meetups, and everybody's been using it. So like I was saying, related to calendar, if you really understand how to use calendar, when you schedule meetings, it's going to appear from calendar and it would give you the link to use it from there. So it makes it very easy, and it will make it easy for you to share with people. And also another local guide has made a post, Naresh, how to use Google Meet. I would also share that link, and including the presentation, so you can have access to everything. Sorry, if I am speaking too fast, please let me know so I can slow down. I hope I'm not speaking too fast.
No, we appreciate it.
Right.
It's
Okay,
fine.
great.
I
Okay, thank you very much.
everything.
Okay, so yes, this would work for everyone. You can host, and that's it. And everyone can easily join, like you all easily join this meetups here. So yes, the resource that you would have if you're hosting virtual meetups is you can promote from the meetup page. You can promote straight to your social media account. So if you go to the meetup page, you would see like share on Twitter, it would put the link to the meetup and all that. Copy the link, share it on Instagram, share it on Connect, tell your friends. If you don't really promote your meetup, the chances that you would have people to attend would be very slim. And also start with your own network, the people that you have close relationship with. Once you get those people on board, and not many people, not others can come on board, and by attending meetups will also increase your chances of having more attendees. So the next one is you have 3 announcements. What I've noticed, actually, I've learned something new with the announcements today, because the first announcement that I did yesterday, it had the link of the new Google Premium. So I just wanted to test that one out and see how it works. And then I realized it has a little bit difference. But now I changed it to my Premium and did a new announcement. What I realized is many people still join the previous announcement, the previous link. And it took some struggle to still come. So the chances is once you do your announcement with the link, please avoid changing the link. avoid changing the link. So have one standard link for your meetup and use it throughout. So that's something that I've learned as your host, and then I'm sharing it with you now. People would read one link once they visit the meetup, and that's the link that they would always click. So if you have a link now, you've moved people here. The chances is people will join the old link, and if they really do 2 to 3 attempts and they are unable to join your meetup, they would get frustrated and they would leave. It's like you would see like we're waiting for someone to let you in, and you will not be able to get in the whole time. So it's just like dressing up for a party or dressing up for a wedding just to go at the entrance and nobody opened the door for you. So that's quite embarrassing, and it doesn't feel right. The other tools that you have is Google Photos. Also, I would share a link that has a photo. So if anyone is able to do this, the Google Photos, shoot some, always in virtuals, take some screenshots, share it, whatever you can, and always create a photo link before you start your meetup and share it so people can dump in the photos, and once they're ready, they can use it and it will be part of your meetup. And yes, I'm using Google Slide for this, so that's also easy. I was also saying Google Docs, you have that. I would share documents as well related to this with all the links, Google Sheets and Calendar. So collaborate with other people. There's this other tool that I came to discover. It's a Meetup survey. I don't know how many local guys, anyone here that have submitted Meetup surveys before?
Nope.
Any local guy that have hosted meetups and then have shared survey list? What about you, Jesse? Have you seen the survey before?
Yeah, the form, yeah.
Okay. So another thing that I noticed is most of the local guides they don't submit the survey. That includes myself. So I recently came to discover it after hosting a couple of meetups. So whenever you complete your meetup, you do your recap. There is a survey that would keep everything. So yes, keep that. And another wise thing that people have done, I'm gonna come back to the 3 announcement, is the last announcement that you have, always keep it for your recap. Once you have the recap available, if you share the recap link there, it's going to send email to all of your attendees, and then they can understand that the recap is available, because the recap, you can mention a maximum of 10 people in the recap, unless then you go to the comment section and you'll be adding more and more people. So once you use the last announcement for recap, and some people would see, and they would still be able to go to connect and then check for your recap, and they would easily find your account. So now we go to the next one. So this is the little do's and the don'ts that I put up. The first one is be considerate, because think about everyone in the meetup, and think about some people might not be very fast to catch up with what you're saying. And if you say 5 o'clock and all that, please try to stick with the time. People might be embarrassed to tell you, I have a run to go, I can't stay. They would just want to stay in your meetup for a while. So just try and make sure that you're able to meet up with the time. Don't keep it too long. Make sure that everybody feels comfortable, they're able to share. Do not forget, when it comes to questions and answers, try to make sure that everybody feels part of the meetup. Just make sure that everyone feels included, and what might work for you might not work for everyone. The jokes that might work for you might not work for everyone. So also, because of religious diversity, so virtual meetups would bring people from different backgrounds, different cultures. So be very considerate of things like that. And data, I would say this data related is because some people that join the meetup, internet might be cheap for you, but it's not cheap for everyone. So if you're not really if you're not presenting, or you're not saying anything, sometimes it's okay, just switch off the video, because the few people that are there are using data, and it will cost them a lot of money. So it would also increase the quality for them. So be very particular about the data others are using to join. So be yourself. That's one of the most important thing. If you're a host or attendees, nobody's gonna bite you. So be active in the moment. Um, it's important when things related are asked and you don't come back and say, sorry, I missed that, or your camera is broadcasting and you're on a phone and everybody can see that. So be at the moment, be yourself, be just who you are. You would enjoy the meetup, be free, make friends. It's the same thing when you go anywhere, be it virtual, be it the other meetup. That's it. Lateness. This, if you are a host, it's important for virtual meetups. The least that you can do is 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You're already there waiting for people to come. So ethically, not everyone is going to be okay with you being late to your own meetup. And also, if it's when people also have a lot of when a lot of people come in late after the meetups starts, might not be very all right. So unless if you come, it's better you can just say, you're late and that's a kind gesture. But yes, people do a lot of effort to attend, but this really applies to the lateness. It really applies to host. You can never be late to your meetup. So your attendees have errands, they might run late, but as a host, I would really advise you never be late to your own meetup. So mute audio. It happens all the time. So if you're not speaking and others are speaking, you have a lot of background noise around. So just mute yourself. And sometimes the headphones that you have might not be okay. So what you do is you might have to just use an audio recorder from your phone. Do a little audio record. Every phone by default have a sound record. Record yourself a little bit and then play it back and see how that is. If the audio quality is good, then know that, okay, you are good. So if you're not talking, mute yourself. And if you notice a wrong sound is coming from someone and it's not appropriate and they are not speaking, mute them. And don't feel bad when someone mute you in a meetup. That's just sometimes I do it and sometimes people do it. So when you're not speaking and people mute you, don't take it personal. They're just, trying to help others. Some people have headphones. The wrong sounds at the background might be very difficult for them, and they might find it very inappropriate. And you're not being very considerate if you do that. So get a headphone or try to make sure that you don't have different wrong sounds. And if you join two devices, your laptop and phone, be very careful because the sound might start echoing. So you need to understand how to balance your sound with that. So be very careful with that. And another one would be screen sharing. It happens a lot. People would just join in and then share their screen. So avoid screen sharing unless you are presenting. It's key that you're not sharing your screen unless you're the presenter, because your privacy is also part of it. So if you share your screen unexpected and you're not realizing it, people are seeing what's going on your phone, and they would constantly have to be telling you to stop sharing screen. So avoid it if you're not. If you're an attendee and if you're a host as well, just be careful when you share your screen, and then have what you want to share, have it prepared first before you start sharing your screen. The next one would be not learning. Well, let's say if somebody is hosting a game that's related to charades and all those things. So, and they put instructions on this is what and what you would need. So if you don't learn about the meetup and you just joined, you will not feel yourself inside. So it has to be something you can relate to, something you can learn, something you can actively participate in. So those are very important. So learn about the meetup before you join. When you learn about the meetup, you will know if this is the right meetup for me, if this is not the right meetup for me. Do I have all the tools? Do I have all that I need to be there? Don't ignore messages. Okay, this has happened to me to a couple of people, and then a couple of meetups that I tried to join. And quite frankly, I was a bit disappointed. And like some of the hosts really didn't listen. And when you try to talk to them and they don't listen, or you send them something and they don't reply. So if you're hosting a meetup, or you're hosting a meetup, your first priority is you have to communicate. You need to communicate. A lot of people will be there, so communicate with them. People would have trouble issues, they would have challenges to join the meetup. So you have to be there, you have to be step ahead. As soon as someone asks, you're able to answer them. If they can't find their way through the meetup, you need to find a way to get them on quickly. Blank RSVP without communicating, this one is very famous. So no show, we do this a lot, and you would see a meetup that has 50 confirmed attendees, and then the meetup would have just 20 something, or 15 or 16. It's not a nice feeling. I'm just going to tell you this, because it's like when you organize a party and you cook for so many people to show up, just to realize that it's only 5 or 7 people come to the party. So that same feeling, at some point, I believe other local guides would also face the same thing. So if you RSVP for a meetup, please try and show. If you can't, okay, just go and then cancel your attendance from the meetup, or you leave a message. And if you're going to join late, sometimes it's good, just drop a message, I might join late. So not to give hopes to the host that 100 people signed up to my meetup and all I'm having is just 5. So it's not a good feeling. So try to do that, and then really communicate. And the no test, you would really have to test and then see if your link is working. Check your camera, check your computer, check if the documents are okay. If you don't do this, you're gonna make mistake with a lot of tools. So you have to be prepared, and then you need to do a dry run to make sure that your virtuals are ready and everything else is ready. So the next one would be wrong goal. So you just cannot do this in meetups. Don't make it all about yourself. You have people in the meetup, and the goal is always to connect people. That's the whole meetup thing, is to connect people and then make sure people learn and share and they feel the moment. So you need to give opportunity to people to listen. You listen to people, you take feedbacks. Not you would understand everything and have the widest knowledge about everything. So there will be other local guides with more experience, and there will be other local guides with their own style. So you have to approve that. You need to listen to them. You need to make sure that the meetup isn't to promote yourself, it's to promote the agenda of the meetup. So that's it. Make sure everyone is just comfortable at all time. Think about everyone in the meetup. So if you're ready to host a meetup, this is it. If you haven't hosted one, now is the time. You should really endeavor and make sure that you host a meetup. It's when you host meetups, you become much comfortable. You become much confidence. Is a skill that you learn. Some people's got the natural skill, but you have nothing to be fear of. And if you're hosting it, the tip that I can really give you: look for what you like and what you're best at. So you must be good at it, and you have to be best at it. Also, you can easily relate to. If you're a good cook, cooking is what you're really good at. Organize meetup that are related to food recipes and all that. There, people can feel the energy, they can feel the connection. If you're a technical person, do something that is technical related and make sure you put all of it into it. Whatever you're doing, and just do it so it's related. And more importantly, you have to start with your friends and your close connection. Reach out to them earlier, and don't host your meetup 3 days before the meetup or 4 days before the meetup. If it's virtual, you want people to attend. So try as much as you can, and you schedule it at least. Connect would recommend 2 weeks, so you can still do a week. That is fine, but just don't organize meetups last minute, unless if you're somebody that's got the network and you can pull it up immediately. So you've got a lot of meetups. Like if you look at this whole list here, there's a lot of them to host, and then here you have a lot to attend. So look at what's lacking in your community. Which one can you do? And yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions, this is the end of our slide, so stay tuned. Part 2 is going to come. Unfortunately, one of our speakers could not join today because somebody passed away, and he was supposed to present on speaking at map editing, but he lost a family member. So yeah, thank you very much. So if you have questions, credit and resource, this is it. Thank you.
Hi, Alpha. This is Yashoda. I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
You have to fill up a form and send it to Google.
Once you if you host meetups, there's the form is here. This is the form, but this is only if once you host meetups already. This is the form that you use to submit it after hosting the meetup.
For a first timer, if I want to organize a meetup, then do I have to fill up a form and send it to?
Yes.
A process?
Yes, here. Can you see
Can you share something about that?
Yes. Can you see my screen
I can
here?
see. No, I can see you on the screen.
Okay. So I'm still sharing. Can you flip your screen? Can you change your screen layout? It might show what I'm presenting.
Yeah, one sec.
Okay.
Hey, Iago, you can zoom in your screen so you can see it properly. What Alpha presenting? You can zoom in, no problem.
No, still don't get it. But anyway, you can just explain it, I guess.
All right. So,
I think there's another screen that you'd see. It's a presentation.
So,
you'd see Alpha twice.
Yeah. Got it.
I think you should
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So yes, this is it. You can find this in Connect. You can, if you look at the meetup section in Connect, you would find this. It will bring you to this page. So the same page where you attend meetups, like the same way you saw my meetup. So on top, you would see there, it shows host meetup. So from host meetup, now this is where you complete everything, and you set the date, the time, the meetup name, and then the photo here, and this is the dimension. So for the photo, always use a landscape. Avoid using a portrait on this. So make sure always your photo is on landscape. If you use a portrait, the outcome might look very funny. So this is the form that you would submit. Once you're done, you just submit it.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
And then you pray.
Yes. Yes.
That it gets accepted. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. I've just shared part of the document. Any other question?
Sorry, I'm going to ask you a question. It might be a bit difficult to answer, but anyway, I'll throw it to the house anyway. What does organizing a meetup, being an organizer, what's the implication of it on your reputation as an LG? Or does I don't mean reputation as well. Like, it's good for you psychological and everything, but is there any point, marks, or any other thing that indicates that you've organized or you're an organizer?
Well, if organizing meetups, I would just say it's something that really connect people like, and the local guides really like, and they advocate for this as something very important. And it's something that you can collaborate with other local guides, and you can connect with them. The whole local guide program is not just about contributing; it's about connecting. So meetups is one of the key of this. And well, I'm not a Connect moderator, and I don't know much about this, but one thing I can say, I think it can also contribute to your chances of being selected to Connect. So, but this is just my opinion. Well, because they would see like you're a genuine local guides and you're doing genuine things towards what you like by contributing towards MAP. And I think Jesse is also here who have attended Connect. So Jesse, you want to add anything to that? The importance of hosting meetup?
Yeah, you're right. Hosting meetups is something that they really take into account when selecting attendees for Connect Live or events. Yeah, you're completely right.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you very much. Many thanks.
You're welcome.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Hi, have you ever had any experience or anybody else that when you apply to Connect and you would like to host a meetup and you got denied? Anybody have that experience?
Yes, I did. I did so many times. I'm telling you, I'm learning from what I've learned from is what I'm trying to share. So yes, my meetups got denied a couple of times. The first reason is I use graphic tools that I paid for it because I have premium membership with some other graphic websites, and I paid there. But Connect saw it like these are stock images, so the best thing that you can do, just avoid stock images. That one was for the images that I use, which was wrong. So avoid the images that you just pick from online or all that. Despite I edited it and all that, they still rejected it. The second time also my meetup got rejected was it had a Google form because I wanted to send emails to people once they confirm. So but Google's privacy does not allow you to collect people's personal data. If you attempt to do that in anything, they can shut you down, and this is also against Connect violation. So you cannot do that. You cannot put out your numbers. You should not get people's personal information. So these are some of the reasons, and just when you read that guideline, you would be able to handle all this thing. I've shared a document, so that should be able to help you. And also the presentation that I use, I'm gonna share a link. It's here. It's open to everyone, so you can use it and edit and benefit from it. Here is it. So that's it.
Sorry, Alpha, just a quick question, or
Yeah.
I would say it's a suggestion.
Okay.
I learned that a few people have been complaining about as meetups are getting organized, ways to communicate with your attendees via the platform alone. I think is there any more effective ways to communicate with your attendees to tell them over the schedules and all the things that might come up along the line? Because it's usually more of a one-way communication. Just speak to them, and then you don't get instant replies and all that, and
Okay. Yes, there is. Well, I would not say it's a one way. It's just that like the understanding to using the platform. That's really the thing. It's not really one way because I've been talking to some people on Connect. So if you click a meetup, just right below the meetup, there is somewhere where it says join the conversation on Connect. So if you click there, you can write to the host and you can comment on the meetup. As soon as you submit a meetup, there is a Connect post that's automatically created. So this allows you to comment on it and the host gets a notification. So you can send them a private message, they can send you a private message, and everyone would be able to see it. So yes, I have Edward who would like to share map editing meetups. But Edward, please give us a minute. There was another speaker that was in queue. I'll come to you. Thank you so much for joining, and thanks everyone for joining. So Isaac, if you're ready, we would have to do it now as we're really running out of time. This was set for an hour, and we're already 8 minutes on top. So I apologize. It went beyond beyond the time that I planned. So Isaac, if you're set, now is the time. And then we would have Edward to share about map editing quick.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Isaac, local guy, design based in Lagos, Nigeria. And I will be talking briefly about hosting photo walk meetups and everything you need to know, and some quick tips about photo walks uh, to help you better organize a successful photo walk meetup specifically. Because of my schedule, I will unfortunately not be presenting, but I believe that the tips I will be able to give to you from what I've learned over the years will be very useful. So photo walks, basically, what are photo walk meetups? They are meetups organized to capture scenes, beautiful scenes, so places, your city or specific landmarks that you find interesting and you like to show others. Um, so photo walks are basically fun, especially when you have a group of people. So to organize photo walk is very easy, just the way Alpha has mentioned, this basic simple steps on setting up a meetup. You go to the Google Local Guides meetup page and then submit your meetup. And you need to have a photo also for the photo walk meetup. Now, photo walks are very simple meetups. They are just for capturing photos. So it could be that you want to cover a certain street in your city, or you want to cover a certain area, and you just maybe you have a lot of businesses on that street and you want to cover it. Your photo walks can be either solo or you can have group photo walk. So you can organize a photo walk single by yourself. I remember my first photo walk meetup, I was the only one who attended. So Alpha mentioned something earlier, and I very much relate with it. He said that where sometimes you organize a meetup and 40 people will sign up, and at the end of the day, only 5 will get to attend. It has happened to me several times, and I felt bad, but you just have to keep doing it. With time, more people will join you. So my first meetup, I think about 23 people signed up. My first photo walk meetup, and on the day of the meetup, which was a Saturday, no one showed up, and I was disappointed because I had made provisions to host them to a restaurant afterwards so we can have a drink together. So I had to do it alone. I walked all the stretch of the street and back. I captured all the buildings there. It was basically a commercial street. So most of the buildings were owned by businesses and commercial entities. So for photo walks, yes, like I mentioned, it can be solo or it can be group, but I would rather you have your photo walk in group. Now, I'll be sharing 3 tips. 1, I'll be sharing on security, and 2, I'll be sharing on the fun things you can do during your photo walks, and then 3, I'll be sharing on writing your photo walk recap. So these are the 3 things that are necessary after you submit your meetup. So for the pre-photo walk meetup, what you need to know is that you need to send out broadcasts to people, let them know what you are doing. So you have 3 announcements. Use your announcements to let them know what you guys will be doing in the meetup. Like, give them an expectation. And secondly, on the day of the meetup, you can try to, if you're very buoyant, you can try to organize something, maybe refreshments for them, or you can tell them to come with their own. You can put a fee and say we are going to be visiting a restaurant, and then fees are on everyone. Or you can decide to just do it out of goodwill and then buy drinks for everyone, depending on how you are or what status you are currently. And on setting up for your meetup, you need to consider security. I once had security, there's where I am. I'm in Nigeria, and sometimes you have security operatives who may be overzealous in their duties, so they might want to threaten you. And here, depending on where you are, I know that in some countries you have you're free to capture public buildings, but in certain areas you are not at liberty to capture. Once they see a camera in front of them, it's a problem. So you need to consider security for your photo walk meetup. Security is very important. Now, tips on security: when you're capturing your photo try not to make it obvious to everyone that you are taking pictures. Some people are very sensitive. Some business owners are very sensitive. If you're capturing, if they don't want to know what you are doing, if you tell them you're a Google Map, you're a Google local guy, they don't want to know. All they know is that I don't want you to capture my building. They don't want to see you. So you need to be able to. There's a word we use here which is coded. You need to be discreet in capturing your photo. If you're doing it alone, for me, my phone has a fingerprint sensor at the back. I use a Xiaomi Redmi Note 7. So it has a fingerprint sensor at the back, and once I tap it, it captures the photo. All I have to do is, as I'm walking on the street, I just hold my phone, position it to the building, and then I make sure it is straight. 1 second, I have captured the photo. Before,
Just
yeah,
sorry. Doesn't that violate any privacy rights because
yeah,
it's out of their will?
it doesn't violate any privacy as long as I'm not capturing anyone who is. I don't like people appearing in my photos, and I don't like vehicle plate numbers appearing in my photos. So I try to. I'm still coming to that, but I'm just giving you on security. Don't try to put it in their face that you are capturing them, and also don't capture people's faces because if they don't want to be in the photo, then they shouldn't be in the photo. So for example, you don't take your phone and picture it this way and put it there, even if nobody is there. Someone else could be, and they're seeing you, and what are you doing? Try to avoid people try people try. There's a word for it. Try to avoid people coming to you, to ask you questions. It might complicate matters. So as you're walking down the street, be discreet in how you take your photos. And this is for areas, I'm talking about areas where taking photo is a sensitive matter. Okay. Also, when you're moving in groups, you need to be able to. Google Local Guides has been able to provide swags and stickers, and then tags. So you can create tags. Try to create like the ID card type of tags. I will be sharing some of these tags with you, so you'll be able to see examples. My first photo walk, I created tags for everyone. So we all wore it, and then we had our names, like fun facts about me. I'm a local guide level this. And then anybody that comes across to us, we tell them what we do. Okay, this is what, oh, that's great. Perfect. You guys go ahead. And people want to find out, okay, cool. Eventually, we're especially in groups. They want to know what you're doing. Imagine 20 people moving on the street and capturing. It leads people want to ask you questions. So that is for security. Try also to assess your surrounding before setting out. So the area, some areas in your city that may not be very adequate for your photo walks, especially group photo walks. Try to avoid such areas, or even if at all you have to go there, try to be strategic. Look at how many people are coming for the meetup. How many people can you manage? If as much as possible, try to avoid bad spots, and then consider maybe solo walks along those areas to capture those areas. Photo walks can be really fun if you have a group of people that have different tastes in photography. For example, myself, I like landscape photography. Someone else likes city photography. So we can't all be capturing the same place. Imagine you guys are 20 and you are capturing the storefront. So 20 of you are capturing the same storefront, like duplicate. So you can try to let everyone know, okay, what are you interested in? Landscape photography. Okay, when we're moving, try to capture the greeneries, try to capture the landmarks. What are you interested in? Okay, I like to capture business storefronts. Okay, you can assign people to different teams in your photo walk, so you don't have duplicates of photos on Google Maps. Okay, that would also help. And also now I'm going to talk about writing your meetup recap. After organizing your photo walk, you can decide to maybe have a drink or two after that. People will be definitely tired, especially if it's very sunny. Writing your recap is very easy for photo walks. I think is one of the easiest recaps to write. You have to take a lot of photos and include photos in your meetup. Your best photos, your best shots, and then also try to have group photos of yourself before you started the meetup and when you ended the meetup. Maybe before you set out on the road, you can have a group photo where you're all fresh and you're all smiley. And after the meetup, maybe when you're in the restaurant or when you're about departing together, if you're not going to a restaurant to have a drink, you can have a group photo. So show the before and after. One thing that the local guys team, from what I have seen so far, one thing they like to see is creativity. They like to also see how in-depth your photo work was. They like to take photos. So show them how interesting your meetup was in photos. So try as much of it to include photos in your recap. Between recommended is between 2-4 photos, or you can go as much as 5 photos, so you don't make your recap all mumbled and jumbled. So 5 photos are enough, I think, and that will try to pace them out as you write content. It's like text content. You also put a photo. Then you go again, put a photo. So don't merge all your photos like a series. Try to break them into different sections or segments in your recap. In detail, try to write as much as possible what your photo, where you went. Try to give location of your photo walk. How many kilometers do you guys cover in terms of, or miles, steps of distance, and what?
It seems like we've lost Isaac. Isaac, are you still with us? Okay. Well, it's a difficult time. So, guys, if anyone have any question quickly, let's try and round this up. We're 20 minutes extra on time. So, if you have any questions quickly, can we do that? I think there's this trick that I might share. One thing that I didn't say. If you host a virtual meetup, the chat, please don't lose the chat. What you do is try to highlight every text. You copy and paste it in Word. Let me see if I can share that quick so you can see what I'm talking about. That's quite important in virtual meetups. Can you see this? Let me just do this quick. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Isaac mentioned about making tags and IDs and things like that, right?
Sorry, you're breaking up. I didn't get quite clear.
Isaac mentioned in his presentation about making tags and ID.
Yes.
Is that permitted by Google, by Connect?
Okay, the link that I've shared, it has a list of hosting meetups. So in that document, there is a section that has tags and stickers. So if you check that document, you would see the stickers there and you'll be able to print it and you'll be able to write names on it. So it's part of the chats. Just check that document and look at the, okay, my screen is on. So this is the link. Let me just open it quickly so you can see. Open link. Are you seeing my screen, right? So sorry, it's loading up a bit slow. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Just forgive me, it's loading up slowly. Okay. So if you look at it, this is how to successfully organize meetups. So everything is here. The first thing that it says, plan, like I was saying, and you have GeoWorks and all that. And if you check at the bottom somewhere, photo library, original, the guidelines is here. So our list connect on, I'm just looking for the section where you would see. Okay, you see, there is a presentation and here you have printable stickers. Do you see them?
Okay, I can
where my
see
mouse is. Yes. So from here, you would have stickers that would have there are two types of stickers. The other one is just the local guide logos. So let's just look at them. You see this is the one sticker, and the other one is name tag. I'm looking for name tag somewhere here, or maybe you get the name tag after you submit the meetup. So one way or the other, they would find a way to send it to you. But where's the name tag again? Okay, so I haven't seen the name tag, but the document that I've shared, I'm gonna update the name tag. the name tag there. Or if you looked on Connect, you should definitely see it. It should be somewhere around here. So, but yeah, that's it. Like I was saying, for chats also, if you host virtual, for chats, please, you keep this, because when you ask people for their Connect, writing it down might be difficult. So all you have to do is just come here and then start highlighting all the way up. Okay, once you do that, and that would save you a lot of time trying to write down things. Then just go to Google Sheet, and if you can just open your new document, and there you go, you paste it. Then you would have everyone's Connect IDs and socials very quickly. So before you leave the chat, so if you're a host, before you leave the chat, this is an important thing that you can just do. You see, now I have the entire chat here, and I'll be able to follow up with this real quickly. And I'll remember everyone's name, so writing recap might be easier from here as well. So don't miss this, because if you leave, you will not get it again. I think we're done for now. Any other question before we leave?
Hi, Alpha.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, fine.
Good.
It's not a question, but just to greet you and say hi. I really appreciate your meetup, and I
Thank you
learned
very
a lot
much.
of information.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. It's good to have you. He's someone that is always organizing meetups, and he has great insights about meetups. So thank you so much. I've also learned a lot from listening to you and meetups, and I look forward to organizing the type of meetups that you organize. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other questions or any other thing? Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. So thank you all so much for attending. This was really nice. It's really good to have you, and I'm happy you all joined. And my presenters, Jesse and Isaac, thank you so much. The second one is coming soon, so just keep following, and we will keep you posted, and I'll make sure that it has a 2 weeks notice, and we would set other topics, and Edward is definitely going to be on our next speaker list, so look out for Edward. By the way, I didn't say, Edward is the guy that motivated me as a local guide, so I learned so much from him, so I need to give him credit and recognize him for being here. And he has done so much for my country and any local guide from the Gambia. So this guy has done way too much for me. So my contribution and all this, I would give this guy the credit. So thank you guys so much. It's really nice having you. Thank you all so much for your time and effort to being here. Great having all of you. Thank you so much. Please go and host a meetup. And please tag me on your meetup. Tag me on anything that you want me to attend. I would gladly be there, and then connect with more local guys.
1 minute, Alpha, please, 1 minute. Is it possible to take a group picture, like a screenshot of your screen on the computer and yourself?
Yes, sure I can. Okay, so everybody turn on your camera and say cheese. Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alpha
Okay,
Summers, for
Thank you, Alpha.
Thank you, Alpha.
Thank you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jesse.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Alpha. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, thank you all.
Looking forward for your next meetup.
Awesome. Looking forward to having you too. Okay, so drop your social if you want to get connected. I will follow all of you. Just drop your accounts if you still haven't, so I will just follow you back.